What's up, everyone? I'm Trevor Baptiste, and this is Facing Off with me, presented by Warrior. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about standing neutral grip stance. Stance is so important in facing off because if you're not in a good position to start, you're not going to be able to attack that ball, move fast, and face off successfully. All right, so I'm going to break this down into 3 key points. Number 1, and most importantly, you always want to be angled towards the ball and towards your opponent. So notice before I go down to my stance, I'm always addressing this ball with my right foot. My toe is pointed right at that ball, hips, head, shoulders, angled towards that ball and towards my opponent. Now, number 2, when I come down, I want to be extremely light on my hands, okay? So you don't want to have too much weight on your hands because you can't move fast, you got weight on your hands. So make sure you're light on your hands, just have those hands resting on the ground, okay? If your elbows are outside of your knees, it's gonna be really hard for you to be light on your hands for all my young guys, okay? So make sure you keep those elbows inside your knees, okay? Widen out your stance if you have to. And number 3 is you wanna have that ball in the center of your stick, and then once that whistle blows on that clamp, you wanna drive down the line, okay? So every time you're practicing, every time you're lining up, make sure that ball's right in the center of your stick, light on your hands, angle towards the ball, towards your opponent, and then you'll be able to be in a great position to face off well, standing neutral grip. All right, so today we're gonna talk about standing neutral grip and the different moves that you can do out of it, okay? So I'm gonna come down in my perfect stance, angle towards that ball. All right, the first move we're gonna talk about is the clamp, okay? Probably most versatile move. So when you clamp, it's really important that you always use the throat of your stick because this is the strongest part of any head, okay? Up here, it's a lot weaker, all right? So on that whistle, I'm lined up nice and straight, light on my hands. I'm gonna attack this ball with the throat of my stick and clamp down on that ball, okay? Now notice when I clamp, I get that ball and throw my stick, but I also punch my left hand as well. That's gonna give me some leverage to push my opponent off and really lock that clamp down. Also notice, I'm leading with my hands and I'm following with my body, okay? So I'm here, around that whistle, I'm clamping, boom, and I'm getting right on top of that ball, really getting that ball right over my nose. So that's gonna own this neutral zone so I can kind of push my opponent out, not only with my hands and my stick, but also with my body weight. So today I'm gonna show you another move, standing neutral grip, okay? We talked about the clamp, we talked about our stance, but now we're gonna talk about our bottom rail moves, or raking, or lasering, some people like to call it. All right, so I'm gonna go down to my perfect stance. Now with this, I like to hold my stick right under the calluses under your fingers, okay? So you know, like right where your fingers meet your palm, you get some calluses there if you lift weights, or kind of just right at that point. I like to put my shaft right underneath there and wrap my hand around. So that's gonna give me a lot of tension when I'm going to rake the ball, okay? If I hold my stick up here, my fist, I don't really get that tension, right? I can't get my stick back. So hold my stick down this part of my hand. I come down nice and light on my hands, angle towards that ball, towards my opponent, okay? Now, first thing I wanna do on a bottom rail move is make a fist, okay? Once I make that fist, it's gonna press my head backwards, okay? That's also gonna put my head underneath my opponent's clamp, all right? So with a quick rake, right, we're gonna make that fist and pull to our left at the same time, okay? So we're gonna try to dislodge that ball away from our opponent's clamp or before our opponent can get to it at all. All right, so full speed, it's gonna look like this. And we're gonna go run and get that ball. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about exits. Now, exiting in the face-off is almost more important than securing the ball. Okay, once you secure that ball, you gotta make sure you get it out to a good spot, and it's probably the hardest part about facing off, okay? So I'm gonna show you a few different exits standing neutral grip. All right, so first, we're just gonna talk about going forward, okay? Everybody's favorite exit. All right, so like we've talked about, you always want to clamp this ball with the throat of your stick, plunge the ball, okay? Now when I plunge it, I'm pushing down with my right hand and lifting up with my left hand. That's gonna allow me to grab this ball. Now when I go forward, I wanna make sure I really get separation from my opponent, who's gonna be right over here. So I'm gonna push off this right foot and exit to my left foot and pop this ball and catch it. Now you can see how much space I have away from the face-off X. The last thing you wanna do when you go forward, or in any exit really, is to pop this ball straight up like this, right? Because you're gonna have somebody all up in your grill. You don't want that, all right? So that's our forward exit. Now you can also exit this ball backwards as well. A couple different ways you can do it. One, I like to call it the backdoor exit. Get this plunge here. Now I'm gonna exit back to my right. Now this is great if you already exit the ball forward a bunch of times in a game. Your opponent's gonna probably start stepping this way, so you'll have an opening to pop this ball out to your back right shoulder, pop and catch. Notice, right? Exiting with my feet as well as my hand, so I get separation away from this X. Last one I want to show you is the through the legs exit. Now through the legs exit, when you direct the ball through your legs, you direct it to yourself or to one of your teammates, okay? So you're gonna come down that perfect stance again. This, you can plunge, or you can keep your left hand low, okay? And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step my feet open, throw this ball out behind me, turn around, pick it up, okay? Now what's important with the through the legs exit is making sure you know if you're throwing it to yourself or if you're throwing it to a teammate. If you throw it to yourself, right, I would say you probably wanna pick it up inside or right on the edge of this circle, right? You don't wanna throw it too far because you're gonna get in other people's way, other people are gonna get in your way. If you're throwing it to a teammate, you gotta make sure before the face-off, you guys are all on the same page so you can throw that ball out to them. Thanks for watching. These are exits.